Ukraine bites back. Entire Russian unit destroyed and several facilities wiped out. Ukraine continues to torment the invading Russian forces by wiping out an entire unit and destroying several facilities. The news comes at a time when Russian forces are making significant advances in eastern Ukraine, and the towns of Severodonetsk and Lysychansk appear to be coming under the control of Vladimir Putin's forces. However, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky has promised to retake the towns as soon as the West has delivered military equipment that would enable a counterattack. Despite the Russian successes, the news that another of Putin's units has been taken out adds to the already worrying figures for the Kremlin, which has suffered huge losses since the war began. The latest news comes from a tweet by the Kiev Independent, which reads, Ukrainian military defeats 47 Russian troops in southern Ukraine. The Ukrainian Operations Command South said it destroyed 2 tank artillery systems, a howitzer, a radar system, a signals intelligence station, 3 armored vehicles and an All-10 drone on the 3rd of July. To date, Russia is believed to have lost around 36,200 troops, 1,589 tanks, 3,754 armored vehicles, 804 artillery systems and 658 UAVs. Much of the destruction of Russian facilities is partly due to weapons and ammunition supplied by the West. British NLAW anti-tank missiles were instrumental in the number of Russian tanks destroyed at the beginning of the war. Longer-range weapons were also supplied, enabling the Ukrainian defense forces to fight back beyond the front line. However, according to reports, Ukraine now needs to win a victory to justify the increasingly large deliveries of weapons to the country. With the battle for Luhansk now over and Russia claiming the territory, several other key cities in the region will become the next target for Putin, who has ordered his defense ministry to keep fighting. Hopes for a Ukrainian counterattack are currently resting on the Kherson region, where Kiev forces have been gradually advancing for several weeks. According to reports, they are now within sight of Kherson itself, which fell to the Russians in the first days of the war. The recapture of this city would be a major success for the Ukrainians and a blow to Russian self-confidence, but like the Russians in the Donbass, the Ukrainians have failed to make a decisive breakthrough. It is unclear whether they can muster the concentration of men and weapons needed to do so. Roland Oliphant, senior foreign correspondent for The Telegraph, wrote of the need for results. A Ukrainian offensive victory would be seen as vindicating the policies pursued by Britain, Poland and, for now, Joe Biden's administration in the United States. In short, Ukraine must win the war, and the West must do everything in its power to help it do so. If these efforts continue, Ukraine's victory is almost inevitable in the long run. Russia cannot outmaneuver Western economies. Several Western leaders have expressed the view that Putin cannot win the war. With financial pressures on Europe and the US, some have raised the question of why so much money has been invested in Ukraine when many are struggling at home. Several posts have appeared on Twitter urging Western powers to stop sending money to Ukraine. One such post by an American social media user named Charlene read, "Can we finally stop sending our money to Ukraine? Americans are suffering at home." This argument was supported by hundreds of similar comments, many of which pointed to the financial difficulties on the ground, while others complained that the war was mainly promoting the military-industrial complex.